All right, good afternoon once again, everyone, and welcome to today's class. So, like I said, we're going to begin with doing a review. And like I said, today's class is meant to be interactive. So, if you know that you're not going to talk, you're not in, you can't even chat or use the comment section, I'll suggest you drop off because everybody has to give their opinions. Everybody has to talk. Okay, that's how today's class is meant to be. So to get started, I just want you guys to look at this design. Okay, this is one of the submissions. Do you think this is okay? If not, what do you think is outstanding, or what do you think this person did not put in place? Okay, is it the contrast, icons, colors that he used, text? Is it the ingredients? What do you think is how would you rate this design? Any feedback, please, and fast too. So let's stop. Suleiman, you're saying a 6. Please back it up with a reason. Why are you giving him a 6? So Sophie is saying the design is good, but problem with contrast. Can you explain? We have an onboarding screen here. Also, it says splash screen, and then we have the home page. So where exactly is the issue? Or what exactly is the issue with the contrast? Pinpoint a particular place in design. I'm still waiting for more feedback. Ogoma is saying she's going to give him a 7. Looks like a good design overall, but the last transaction part looks a bit too clustered. Okay, so the texts are too bold. So the man says the texts are too bold. The color users aren't blended well to please the eyes. Okay, so number is too shadowy. Okay, so I've seen a very nice comment here. Questions authentic is saying the money used should be in red. That's the debit transactions, right? Yes, that's a very good point. So the user should be able to tell, okay, which is actually credits. This is like transaction, credits and debits. Okay, money that is coming into the account and money that is going out. So there should be a distinctive difference between the both of them, making use of colors. So for this one, if the money is going out, it's saying minus 10,000 here. I don't have edit access, so I cannot really do much to this design. So the money going out should be in red. Yes, that's a very good point. Thank you very much. And the money coming in should be in what? Green. Awesome. Okay. Sophie said the icon is not bold. Somebody said this design is too clustered. Well, there is this spacing here. There's a lot of spacing or alignment issues, right? Because you can see the padding here, the padding below this container. Remember I talked about container in the last class. Okay. And it's totally different from every other one. They don't have the same padding. The padding below here is something else, and then this is too close. Okay. Penny more is saying his arrangement of the money received and sent is not properly aligned. That is correct too. Shadow in the bottom navigation is too big, obviously. And I also have a problem with, navigation bar. You're going to confuse the users here. Okay, let me explain how. So how the users tell that they're actually on a particular page, right? Obviously, because of the way this navigation bar is being designed, I can tell that this, whatever page this is, but this is supposed to be the home page, right? Because that's why I asked you guys to put it. So if the home page is the page where the user is currently on, that should carry the current color. That should be the highlighted one. Then every other one should carry a default color, maybe gray. Okay, depending on how your designs are, right? So here Famous is saying the splash screen is okay, but I think the next screen is a bit too busy and text are everywhere. The content I feel should be in concise and the gradient is kind of taking over the primary color. And there should be a difference in each money coming in and out. That's the same thing Patient said. Thank you very much. Khalid is saying the design of the bottom nav bar feels too complex in my view. Maybe he or she did not get it. Well, I would say nice try for somebody who is just starting out. Nice try. It could definitely be better. So I would really advise that you go at it again. Raymond or Paul, I think that's the name. Yeah. So I also mentioned that your margin, consistency, margin. So if you're using let me see if I can get that. His margin here is 11. Yeah. 11 pixels. It should be 11 for the right hand side too. But we're having 41 here. Okay. And I could go on and check this one. Now this one is 16. And we mentioned that if you're making use of a margin, yeah, it should be consistent. All your elements, if you're starting out with 16 pixels, all your elements should follow suit. All of them should be 16. Okay, your margin should be 16. This one here is 16. This one here is 13. Inconsistency. 16. This one here is what? 13. This one is 16. So please take note of this. The reason why we're doing this review is so that you take note of these corrections, right? And also, your mentor, Mayowa, dropped a few comments. Okay. Let me just, he said to reduce spacing a little here. And he also pointed out the same thing that Famous and Patience did. How the user tell about a debit and from a credit transaction. But he still hasn't implemented that, obviously. And also, this is a home page. You asked to replicate a home page, but he did something completely different here. But nice try, Raymond or Paul. Keep it up. Okay, so thank you for the comments, suggestions. Now we're going to look at another one. I'm just going to show us a few. Okay, so what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about this? You can actually raise your hand though. I've not heard anybody's voice today. So what are we saying? Criticize the design. Benyomo is saying beautiful. The colors are not consistent. Suleiman is saying it makes sense. 8 points. What does that mean? Need more comments. Need more comments. And volunteers too who would like to speak up. All you have to do is just raise your hand and I'm going to call you. But let's criticize the design. What do we think? Alignment wise, bottom nav, color, contrast, scale, spacing, criticize the design. If famous is saying it makes sense, venue more, but has issues with the alignment, where exactly, if I need to zoom in. The nav bar on the bottom might be styled a little. I don't quite get that. The dash is supposed to come before the end. Sophie, dash where exactly? So Nani is saying, I think the arrows pointing up should be outgoing money, and the ones pointing down should be incoming. I don't really think so. I don't think so. I don't really think so. Should it? The major issue is the color inconsistency for the bottom nav. Well, yes, the bottom nav doesn't. I think this would have looked much better. This would have looked much better if this had a white background. Because I remember telling us that we should always go for safe colors, right? White background, and then I don't understand what this pink is doing here, Sha, but this would have been much better if you had a white background and the rest of these icons that are not highlighted were grayed out, and these had the blue. Okay, that would have been much better. So Sophie is saying the nav bar is not significant. Q Famous is saying the icons on the bottom nav seems too close to the top. Yeah, there's not enough room. The padding is very poor, especially for frequent transactions. Okay. The bottom nav bar doesn't complement the body, says Benny Omo. So like I said, that would have been much better if it's were a white background. Okay. And for Nani's comment, she's actually right. The outgoing money, okay, should be the arrows pointing up because it's going out. And the ones coming in should be arrow pointing down. So if this is your design, I hope you're taking note of the corrections. And then the spacing here is too much, right? Okay, so do we have any other comments? All right, go ahead. KodeCamp.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I think I like this
Afternoon, sir.
actually. This is a really, really good it's a very good design. Of course, factoring that you're a beginner FA. Um, actually very yeah, I'm impressed. I'm actually impressed. Okay, but I like to make a generic comment, right? Not just to her, but to every other person. That when you're designing, a lot of times you have to factor in your text, right? Especially when it has to do with labels, and those text labels are let's say generated, okay, auto generated. They are not static. Now a typical example is the name, right? The name of the person or the description in this last transaction, right, where you have pressure slash enjoy. Now, my question to you, FA, and not to you, to every other person, right, is this: how would it look like if the name was longer? Okay, how would it look like if the name was longer? So it's something you should always have at the back of your mind when you're designing. Now, are you going to do it in such a way that's the very first, like the very first transaction where you have pressure slash enjoy? If the text was longer than that, if it was enjoy your day and the day before and the day after and stuff like that, how would it look like? Okay, so these are things you need to factor in, and don't assume that the person who would probably pick up this design and develop it will know, because you could decide that, okay, fine, it should just run straight, or it should, go to the next line at a particular point. Now, if you check the first and the second one, I don't know, favor, please scroll down. If you check the first and the second one, right, you can see enjoy stops just before the end. Cosmetics, the S is already above the amount, right? It's already above the amount because the text is a bit longer, right? So it's something you need to factor in. Now, would you want to design this in such a way that the description, the name or the date, whatever, it doesn't go above the amount? So if at any point it's extending, it breaks into the next line. That's your decision to make. Actually, that's a decision I prefer, but that's a decision you're going to make, right? It may not cut across every aspect or every design pattern or something like that. So this is just a generic comment I want to make for everybody who has, because definitely I know you guys have, everybody did this, right? So it's something to go back and take note of. I would love to see it, maybe later, right? Maybe one of the classes, or probably one of you guys drop it somewhere. I would love to see how you're able to cater for that. Not just this in your every design. Like if you look at the bottom now, frequent transactions, 2 words. Every other one, dashboard is fine, beneficiary. But when you have 2 words, this is how it looks like. Now, my question is this the best way it could have been? Is there no probably one word that you could have used, right, such that you don't actually have to, kind of have this kind of display? So these are things you need to think about when you're actually designing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ikis. Thank you very much for that. And kudos to Efe. All right. Maya, do you have anything to say before we move on to the next design?
No,
Because I
not
think
yet.
I still
Not
have.
yet. I'll let you know if I do.
All right, no problem. Okay, and also for this text here, this the amount should actually be vertically aligned to, because this is like one now, right? These two. So it will look better if it is vertically aligned, maybe somewhere here to this text. For good word. So we're going to move to the next one. This is what we have. So what do you think about this? Comments. Let's criticize the design. Alignments, colors, spacing. Let's talk about everything. Let me zoom this out a bit so you can see the bottom now. So yes, I'm waiting for comments. And if you want to say something, please go ahead and raise your hand. Let's hesitant who has a question for whoever designed this. Was there a need to put each bank? This is a bank app, so I guess. So Kudi, Jonah, you're saying bottom nav. What about bottom nav? Please be specific. Sophie said the design looks like it's fading out. Famous is saying everything is loud. Sophie is saying the nav bar style and size is not consistent. The style and the size, right? Because I think I mentioned consistency in style, especially when you're designing your bottom nav. So if you're going with an outlined icon, then make sure to use that all through for the home, for the cards, for the invest, for settings, right? And then if you decide to use the field icons, make sure that you're making use of all of that field for the home, for the cards, for the invest, and settings as well. So thank you very much, Sophie, for that comment. Annie is saying the bank logos are too big. Okay, we're talking about this. I think generally the circles, yeah, they're too big. So what size is this? This is 57. A 40 would have been better, I think. And everything is too clustered. There's no breathing space. Also, the same question that Hugh Famous and Patience pointed out in the other design. How do you tell which of these is the debit or credit transactions? Because all of them are in blue here. So how do the users know? Okay. Chukwudi is saying the icons is having same color with the container background color, making it to be dim. Which icons exactly? Nani is saying space between the cards and the icon bar seems too wide. I think the spacing between the various elements should be the same. Right, consistency in that too. So let's see what we have here. From home to cards, we have 57. From here to here, we have 72. Inconsistency. From here to here, we have 71. Inconsistency. So they should have, okay, the same amount of spacing. Okay, distribute the same amount of spacing in between these items. Thank you very much, Nani. Patience is saying, I thought every debit was supposed to have an icon depicting that. I'm just struggling with that consistency thing. So what we have here is basically the colors too. I'm wondering where the blue came from for the CO, when obviously we have purple here as the primary color. And this icon is too big. Contrast. I also like to point out visual hierarchy. This the way that you arrange your content, matter of importance, okay? So that, two elements do not compete for attention. Now, you can see that this is bold, right? And it's black. And we still have black here. This would be much better if it was grayed out a bit, okay? So we can tell that this is the title text and this is the body. And it actually also makes it visually pleasing to the eyes, okay? And also improves readability. And then for this, for the buttons, right? The corner radius is too much. If you want to stick to round cornered buttons, then do that. And if you want to stick to, the ones with maybe corner radius of 10 pixels or 8, then the difference should be clear too. This is a very poor gradient. And it could be much better. The colors, the color combination here. Okay, so do we have any other comments? And the spacing here is poor too. Very poor. 12. This is 10. Inconsistency. We have 8 here. We have 12 here. Inconsistency. Everything should be properly aligned and have equal spacing. Okay, your elements should be able to breathe, right? I have enough room. Okay, you have a lot of space here. And also I need to point out that, when you get a frame, you can actually extend it. I don't have edit access, so I cannot do that here. You can actually extend your frames, right? There's no law that says you have to design with the height of the frame when you actually get the frame and you place it on your Figma board. There's no law that says it has to be that height. You can actually extend it, okay, to make more room for your elements, your components, and all of that. Okay, so right, for the last one, this is the last one before we go into today's lesson. So quickly, let's talk about this one. Now, first thing I'm going to point out for this one is when you're being asked to replicate, the instruction is replicate the design. So you're going to make use of the same colors. I see a lot of people using different colors, like the other one, the one we just saw. That was totally different from what we used in class. Okay, it's the reason why we sent out the videos. The instruction was to watch the videos and replicate the design. So in case it comes up again and you're being asked to replicate a particular design, please do well to replicate the design, make use of the same colors, the same typefaces, and all. I mean, the images, if there are images, yes, the images might be slightly different, or the use of illustrations, but the color has to be the same. Okay. So for this one, person is saying I have issues with extending my my other frames inside a frame. Okay, we'll have to talk about that later. Sophie is saying this person that bets node. So let's talk. What do we have to say about this design? You guys are preserving your voice. Nobody wants to speak up. You want me to be the only one talking into this class? The nav bar is inconsistent, Sophie. Questions, please go ahead. We have one volunteer. Go ahead, please.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The very first thing that comes to mind when I look at this is that it's entering my eyes too much. It's too much. The color selection is very poor. And then I think it also has issues with hierarchy. Yes. Hierarchy. And then these profile pics, I don't know what the background is like. It's like everything here is just having pink background. That's what I could point out now.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for speaking up. So yes, the colors. If this were designed by a girl, maybe I would be surprised. But a guy, do we have to check your check your sexuality? Oh my god. Okay, so I don't understand why you decided to use the pink background for your image. I think the hair even is pink. Everything is pink. Oh wow. Oh god. And Khalid gave a very strong point here. He says the page is giving a dull vibe and making him not interested. So yes, that goes to say that your color choice, right, can either make a user stay or leave your application. Okay. I think I remember saying that first impression matters, right? So your color choice, your text, everything, okay, because it's going to make users ask certain questions or doubts or not trust. Honestly, if I see this application, I'm not going to use it. There's some applications that you just install, right, and then you open it and like no. Especially if it's a banking app. These people run away my money. I cannot do this. I do not trust these people. Okay, and that's the vibe that I'm getting from this design. So colors matter a lot. We're looking at a banking system here. There's some colors that should come to mind, and definitely not pink. Okay, we have a lot of solid colors. We have blue, we have a lot of them. Okay, that could actually make more sense, right? But this one, it's not giving at all. Okay, at all. So yeah, Sophie is saying it looks like Ponzi. Nani is saying the color could have been okay if you were for a banking app, right? It might have been okay if it was for shopping apps for women's items or something. Very good point, right? So this is why we said that color psychology is something that every UI/UX designer has to learn. You have to understand colors, when to make use of certain colors, how to apply colors, right? Contrast and all of that. So let's look at what Mentor Bayowa said here. So here he pointed out spacing, right? The spacing here is very poor and poor contrast too. Poor contrast. Okay. The color combination is not pleasing at all. Same thing here. Last transaction. This is bold and this is also bold. Okay, remember I talked about visual hierarchy. Okay, Bayowa, please go ahead.
All right, thank you, Favor. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, by the way. So for this very design, where you have top up previews, those quick actions, can you zoom to the side? So you can see that this person added drop shadow effect to those guys. It's faint, but it's there. I already told you, I advised you that for now, just try and minimize your use of drop shadows. Drop shadows are very, very tricky to use. And if you use them poorly, no matter how faint they may be, or how whatever the opposite of obvious is in your design, inconspicuous they might be, it will still show. People would still be able to see it when looking at the general screen. They'll be able to tell that something is off in the whole design. So just try and minimize your use of drop shadows for now. There will come a time where you start to see how to use it and how not to use it. And then where you have last transactions, September 2023, that was actually a nice idea, but this is not the right place for it. Remember that this is still your home screen. And in your home screen, you're trying to display to your users the most important features that they're going to be using your app for. That's what the home screen, that's what this home screen is for. So you have cards, you have a section that shows your different cards. You have quick call to actions, which are top up, pay bills, and airtime to purchase airtime. And then this section that talks about last transaction is just to quickly show to your users the most recent transactions that you just did. And then you would see that in this sample that Favor did, there was a call to action that says see all. So where you can click and go to a different screen, which you're not asked to design, or go to a different screen where you see all transactions. So it's on that see all transactions page that is much better to have this feature where you can select different dates to see transactions, to see older transactions. So having this particular feature on this section of the homepage kind of beats the whole purpose, because we just want this homepage to be as brief and as concise as possible. So, and then one other thing, I believe I've mentioned that before, that would really help you guys when doing designs. And I could see that not everyone actually followed that advice, is to go online and search for inspiration. Look for similar designs. There are specific websites that you can use where you can see more focused content that you're looking for. Probably we'll share that with you later on. Or even just using Google Images, just go on Google and type bank transaction or bank app or something, and you go to the images part and you see all the images that you're looking for. They show you different apps and different ideas. So you go there and try and pick out. It might not be the whole design. It might just be a section. It might just be a button. It might just be a form or something. So learn to replicate from what other people have done. That's how you learn to, that's how your UI skills would actually improve. Copy from great UI elements and all of that. And then before you know it, you start to see that you're able to create these things on your own. So that's it from me. Thank you, Fimo.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayowa. Thank you very much for all of that. So I hope you guys heard him and if the king correction. Akis, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I think I was mute for my audio was disconnected for a while, but who is this person? Well, okay, let's leave the individual. Don't worry, I don't want to know the individual, right? But I want to actually troll you a bit, right? So a few things. Number one, your settings, right, on your bottom nav is underlined. What happens is that a subheading, right? And even your bottom nav is afraid of the bottom. Like, what's going on, right? Um, so I need you all to you need to learn to pay attention. It's very, very important that you pay attention when you're designing. That's a skill you need to learn, right? Because it's don't be in a hurry, right? Don't be in a hurry and not pay attention to certain things. Like when I just looked at the bottom now, that was the first thing I just saw. I saw a line on that settings and I'm like, what's up? Is that a subheading or something, right? Or and then the whole margin, the distance from the frame, right, to that. I don't know what that extra space is for. Do you want to display ads, right? Do you want the app to display ads or you want to display an alert or something there? So pay attention to your designs. It's actually very, very important. It's a very important skill that you need to learn. This is just a general feedback, but you guys are actually doing amazing work, right? But you need to really push yourself hard, right, to do better. Just like Maiwa said, you can go for inspiration, right? It's not you trying to clone, it's not you trying to go and design exactly what you saw. But when you go for inspiration, see how people are doing things. It helps you to also get what's better. Okay. So take note of that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Akis. So yes, for the bottom now, you can already see that this person is inconsistent.
Sorry about that, guys. We'll kickstart in just a few minutes. Sorry about that.
Hi guys, can you guys hear me? And can you see my screen? I think I got kicked out for a bit. MTN doing the most. Okay, all right. So yes. So I need you all also to know that because we're okay, we're doing a review on your designs doesn't mean that we're trying to throw you. Okay, but we're actually hoping that you will learn. I think I saw person say that she wished her design was displayed. Okay, because the purpose here is so that you pick up these corrections and apply it to your everyday life as a designer. Okay, because it's just these little things that matter: spacing, alignments, consistency, right? Knowing when and where to use different type of colors or different colors, right? And all of that, just majorly design principles that you need to learn that we've talked about. Because this notification icon did not have to be pink as well. So with that being said, we're going to go into the business of today, which is high fidelity prototype. Right? Let me just switch back to this. So for today's class, I got this design from Dribble. And then to add to what Mayowa said, you're not an island, okay? It is totally okay to get inspiration, okay? Especially when somebody asks you to maybe design a portfolio website, for instance. There are a lot of websites, okay, to get inspiration from. One of them is Dribble. We also have Behance. We have Pinterest. Okay, make sure to find out what other people have done to get inspiration from all of these designs. Check out other designs that are similar to what you're being asked to do. And now we're not asking you to go and copy and paste. Okay, you've seen a particular design on Dribble, and then you just copy everything. You're creative too. So all you have to do is just get inspiration, see how this is done, and then create your own. That's the essence. All right. So please do that. And I've seen a few submissions for the new task. And all I can say is, please make sure to read instructions before you submit. Make sure to follow instructions properly before you submit. Okay. If you're being asked to design a portfolio, don't design something else. You know what a portfolio website is. If you don't, go on Google. Google is supposed to be your best friend, right? And most of you are even older than Google. I think Google turned 25 last week. Okay, so go on Google and ask questions, right? Find out, type in portfolio website ideas, portfolio website designs. Please follow instructions, and then try to make use of safe colors. Don't submit a design that has a pink background or blue background or very weird colored backgrounds. Keep it simple. White. Okay, make it white, gray. Just play around with safe colors. Don't make it too splashy or too loud, like you was pointed out in one of the designs. Okay. Keep it simple. Okay, simplicity is key. Less is more. That's all I have to say for those that are yet to submit. For those that have not submitted yet, or that have submitted, please go ahead and recheck your designs. Okay, make sure that everything is okay. So with that being said, like I said, we're going to replicate this design today. And we're going to start with the splash screen. And then when we're done, we're going to link up these screens so we can have a prototype. So we're going to start with the first one. I'm going to get my screen as always, and I'm going to use the iPhone 13 mini, right? So let's just skip this here. And like I said, the first thing you want to do is to title your screen. So we call this splash. So I need us to talk. How do you think we can achieve this? The first design. You know, there's a gradient here. There's a gradient here. You can see that. So how do we achieve this? What do we do first? Do we have two rectangles, one below and one above? I need ideas. Like I said, today's class is meant to be interactive, right? So let's talk. How are we going to, implement this? Benny Moore said, I love iPhone 13 mini. Yes, I do. Is that my phone? Who knows? I guess we'll never know. So, no ideas. Nobody's saying anything. We barely have time though, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Linear gradient. Yeah, but how exactly? How exactly are we going to do that? So first of all, we have my frame here, so I'm just going to fill it with an image. I think I have an image like that. I'm not sure, not so sure, but yes. Olakule is saying putting the bottom gradient to a lower percent. That makes sense. So we have my image here. So what I'm just going to do is add another one on top here. And let me take this to 100. Then I'm going to select gradients. For this one, let me bring this here. All right, I'm just going to do this. I think I wanted to stop around here. So for here, the first one, we're going to put in white, but then I'm going to make this 0 because I want this other one to, I'm going to put white here and then make this 100. So I'm just going to bring this down. What I want this. Okay. So yes, we have that, and they added a bit of corner radius to the screen to just make it look fine. So I'm just going to follow suit. Maybe not so much. Okay, famous, how do you want us to find you? Okay. So what I did here was I first of all added my image, right? And I'm just going to click here, so you can see what I did. Let me bring this here. And then I added another field, but this time I made this linear. So let me just Control Z and start all over. So this is the image now. Let me zoom into this, since this is the square we're focusing on. Right? You know the whole process of adding an image, yeah? So now, I now added, let me remove this. This is my image. I'm now going to add another field. You can see that I've added a few. We're going to take this to 100% and then make it white because this is black, obviously. And the color code for white is 6 Fs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's white. And then instead of hue, I'm going to go for the gradients. Yeah. And you know that we want this, okay, the lower part to be the white part. And then, so we're just going to, I think I'm just going to, sorry about that. So yes, I'm going to bring this. Bring this here, and then I'm just going to change this to 0%. Yes, because that's not obviously where we want the gradients to start from. So for this one, which is 0%, I want to increase this to 100. And that's how we had that. So we have this, and then I added corner radius of, let's see, to my frame. I'm sure you got that now. So we have the text here to be explore various natural beauty of Indonesia. I have no idea what that font style is, but let's see what we can come up with. So let's see what we can come up with. This looks like a fine font though. So for this one, we're going to make use of 24 for our title text. So I'm very sure that is right. Where's that text? Let me add that again. Explore various natural beauty of Indonesia. I'm going to wrap this. This center aligned. So I think I'll just look for another. I'm looking for a font that's no, that's not it. Okay, this is not totally bad. So we're just going to take this up a bit. And then we don't have time, so I'm just going to make use of a placeholder. And that brings me to a question that, what's this guy's name? What's his name? Joshua. I think his surname starts with O. He asked a very funny question, and I refused to answer that question because we've been talking about placeholders for as long as I can remember in this class. That's the reason why we make use of this plugin, lorem ipsum. And he asked, what's the use of the lorem ipsum that you add to every text? I'm like, wow, okay, this is a very amazing question. So for this one, I think we wanted to maybe just 2 sentences, and then we're going to generate something for that. And like I said, because I do not like for the body text to be all black, I'm going to reduce that. So we have this. And also, just because I think I talked about container size or container width for consistency. Okay, so if I'm using the margin of 16, my container width is going to be 343, and I just made this text 343. So I'm going to put that there. You can see now, we're going to check the margin in 16 and 16. We're going to do the same thing for this one, 343 for consistency. Okay, so you see that we have 16, 16 here too. We'll have 24 here. So the next thing we're going to add is our button. Okay, so because of time, I'm just going to make use of a rectangle. But remember, I taught you how to use auto layout, okay, to create your buttons. So let's say we use 20, because I think these are really rounded. Yes. So I'm just going to pick the color from here. And for the button, what's our width going to be? If we're making use of that container width, what's our width going to be for the button? Can anybody tell me? Three, 4, 3. Thank you very much. Okay. So yes, we're going to make use of 3, 4, 3, 2 for consistency. So you can see that we're going to have 16 on the left, 16 on the right for our margins too. And since we're making use of the 8-point grid system or 8-point rule, you can see that this is 40, this is 24. Okay, and then just get a text. What does this say? Get started. So we're going to increase that to maybe a 20 and make it semi-bold. Align it horizontally and vertically. I'll go ahead to group that. So we have this for our splash screen. So the next one we're going to be designing is the home screen. So I'm just going to get the same frame. Okay, give it a corner radius of 1030. We call this home. So the first thing we're going to put here in place is what? Hi who? Hi Jane. I'm seeing a Jane here with a triple E. I'm going to use Jane. Hi Jane. So this is 16. This is our margin. And we're going to reduce that to a 14. And medium. Grade out a bit, just like you can see there. Now the next one, I'm just going to duplicate this. Where are you going? It's bigger than the other one, right? Left alignment. Our margin is what? 16. 16 here too. Left alignment. And then I'm just going to use a darker, yes. Always check your alignment. This is 7. You can decide that you want it to be 4. Okay. So we have hi Jenny, where are you going? And then we have a search bar. So first of all, let's just go and get our icons from Iconify. We're going to get notification bell icon. Notification. Oh, this one looks good. I think I prefer this one. It's light. And what else are we getting? The search. So you can see that there's a shadow. Okay. That notification bar is in a card. There's a shadow. So we're just going to get our rectangle. Constrain the proportions. Okay, I think we can use a 50. Let's see what 50 looks like. Yes, give it a corner radius of 15. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, perfect. And then so we make this F9, F9, F9. So it's white, but not totally white. And give it corner radius. Sorry, drop shadow just before here. For the blow, we can decide to make it 20 and make this guy 20. So it's not so much. So we're going to take this here. But first of all, what we want to do is, who is drawing on my board? Please stop drawing on my board. Bring this to front. Select both of them together and do what? Align the horizontal and vertical centers, just like that. Then we can set to group it. Now I'm going to group this one too. Ctrl G. And I'd like for this two to be vertically aligned. Okay, you can see that this is at the top. I want it to be vertically aligned. But first of all, I want to check my margin. I always make sure to check my margin to make sure that I'm actually following I'm actually following the margin of 16. So I'm going to select both of them together and hit the vertical center. So yes, you can see that it's aligned now. And just to check again, we have 16 here, we have 16 here. So the next thing is to get our space, to create a space bar. And we're still going to make use of the same, I think I want to use 48 here for the height. We're still going to make use of what? The width of what? 343, consistency. This is the way to avoid having this one to be 14, this one is 16, 24, and the rest of that. This allows your work to be very neat. Okay, so as you can see here, it's actually a stroke. So we're going to remove this view and add a stroke. Give it a corner radius of 10. And we're going to grey out that stroke a bit. We'll give you a pass-through of 70, so it's not too, yes. So we have the text be set your location. Set your location. So we're just going to bring this here. Now I'm going to give this the same color code as this guy. Okay, and then I'm going to copy this text. And we're going to make use of lights here. Set your location. To helper text. So I'm going to select two of them together now and make sure that they are vertically aligned. I hope we're following. You can see the spacing here. It's 11 between both of them. I'm going to make that 8. Okay. And I'm going to hit Ctrl G to group them together. Select them together with the rectangle and make sure that it is vertically aligned too. Okay, you can see that it is. Now I'm going to select this and check the alignment. You can see it's 32 from the beginning of this rectangle, and that's too much space. So we're going to make it 16. That's 16 now. 16. So I can decide to put two of them together now. And then we're going to check alignment from here to here. We'll go to this, didn't we? Oh, we didn't. Let's put this together. What should you? So that way we can check the spacing. So this is 30. We're going to make it 24. So with that being done, the next thing is what? To design this. We have beach, mountain, hotel. So let me write that out down. So that's, and they're all in cards. Okay, we call peels, yes. So we're going to create as, we're going to get rectangle here. This 15. And 64. Maybe a corner radius of 10. Margin of 16. Same color code that we used here. Let's copy this. Paste it here. And then add our text. I think for this one they had all written on it. And we're going to align that. Select both together, align it vertically and horizontally. I think I want this to be bold. So group that. And then we're going to get another rectangle. First of all, let's check out what we have here. So they have the same heights, but not the same width. Okay. So another way that you can do this, another easy way to do this is to use auto layout. So we're just going to type out each, and we're going to give it a little bit of that gray and make this semi-bold or even medium. Then hit Shift plus A, or just right click to add auto layouts. So when you've done that, you can see that this padding has automatically been added here. So all you have to do is now add a fill to it. Now this is white, that's why you can barely see it. And what we have here is something grayish. It's just like that. And here you can decide to play around with the horizontal padding. You can see that the horizontal padding is 8. When I hover on this, you can see it here, right? So you can decide that maybe we want it to be 16. Or if that's too much, just leave it at 8 or 10. Okay. And then let me reduce the height of this guy to 56. I'm going to add this again. So that this one now is what? So for here, you can see that you have curve resizing, right? We're going to go to fixed height. Fixed height because we want to impute our own dimension, okay? And we want this to be 56, just like the other one was. So you can see that. And then we're going to go ahead to add the same corner radius of 10 here. And then shift it here. This is 21. Let's say we give them 16 in between. So I'm just going to copy this out, 16 too. And we have mountain here. We have same 16. We have hotel. So now this may not necessarily have, follow the same margin. Why? Because this is going to be scrollable. Okay, this is going to have a scroll. All right. Going to scroll to the left because these are like there are other options. We have beach, and this is to show you the highlighted states. Okay. So we have that, and we so I think this text is too big. I'm going to reduce this. This is 20. Leave it at 18. Let's see what 18 looks like. Over 16. Yeah. Make it regular. The same thing here. Same thing here. So now it has more spacing. And we're going to work on that. This is 8. I want it to be 16. Same thing here. Same thing here. So we can still go ahead to have another one. So we have that, and then the next thing is the cards. First of all, we're going to have the popular beach and see all. Okay, so title text, so that's 24 and semi-bold. Popular. Make it 16. Okay, so let's reduce that to 20. So let's say we decide to select all these three together. Okay, and group it. So we want to check the distance from here to here, which is 45. So we're going to reduce that, but spacing is obviously too much. So we'll leave it at 24. Check the spacing. Why is everyone so quiet? Are we following? And then we're going to have the CO here, 16 to, and this is the primary column here. So I think I copied it. Let's see, we still have it here. So we're going to reduce that to 14. We have CO. $16. So again, what we're going to do next is select two of them and align it vertically. Okay. So this has shifted again. So we have to make sure that imagine it's 16. And then we're going to put this 24. So it's just something that I do, checking alignments as I go with the design. So the next thing we're going to do is add the cards, right? And we have 4 cards here. So we're just going to get the rectangle. And let's say we give this one 6.3 for the width. Corner radius of 20. That's fine. Margin of what? 16. Take this up. 24 looks fine. So it's not too close. And then we're going to get images from our plugin on Splash. Any questions so far? You can see comment section. You know, designing is fun if you actually dig it and understand spacing, consistency, and all of that. It's actually fun. So what we're searching for? Beach, right? So we have a lot of options here. Which one should I go for? There are lots of options here. So I'll just pick anyone. So when you click, we get our image, and I'm just going to copy this. We had 2 there, 16. And I think the other one had, yes, it's longer. It's longer. It's not have the same height. So we're going to do this. And then we're going to do this. We're going to do this. So So we're also going to add different images to this, guys. For this one, I can decide to add that. Add this one. And then we're going to click on the next one and pick this one. I need stop writing on my screen. Stop drawing on my screen. Let's pick this one. Okay, so we've added all our images, right? As you can see. And the next thing is to add the text, right? We have a text here. The image is blurry. Pardon me. So we have a text here, and we have an icon that's a location icon. So we're going to get a location icon. And then we also have this, I think it's to love the image. So we're going to get those two icons right away. Let's get from our plugin Iconify. Location. Need something very light and small. So we'll go with this. And should we call it favorites? Yeah, favorites. There are something small. I think we used a few. Your icon there. So yes, we'll go with this. So let's just use the same time and get our icons for the bottom nav. I have home here. And I don't know if we're going to find something like this, because this is very different. It looks very fine too. I think I've seen something similar, but let's keep going. Oops. Let's go back. We're going to make use of this because this is almost, it looks almost like that. Yeah, so we'll go with this. And then we'll get search. So I'm sure you can notice that they made use of outline icons too. The third one looks like discover. Yeah, discover. And the last one is what? What's the last icon? Profile. Okay, so I'm just going to copy all of this and take them with me here. So the first thing we're going to be working on is this guy. So for the image, right, because I'm going to be adding a text to this image, what I'm going to do is add another field. But then you can see that this is black, but the opacity has been reduced to 20. So we're going to make it 30. Just so that, we cannot control. That's another thing you need to take note of. When you're adding or placing a text on an image, you cannot control how the image is going to look or the background of the image. So what happens if you're adding a white text? Okay, and the image itself has a white background. It's going to make it very hard for the user, okay, to see or read the text. So this is something you need to take note of. So we're going to make it 35, okay, to make it darker. And then we're going to get this guy, not a rectangle, a circle. Make it 30. 30 is fine from what we have here. to place the favorite icon. So we're going to go with this. That's what that looks like. So, we'll make it 50. And then we have this guy. So let's make this white. And I don't like, I think I mentioned that I don't like decimal points. So yes, let's remove that. Place this here. It's looking big though. So we're going to reduce that. So maybe 16. And select both of them together. Make sure that they are aligned. So another thing you have to do is make sure that you're not throwing elements everywhere on your designs. Always make sure that they are properly aligned. So this is 1521. So let's say we make it 16. And we're going to copy the same. So another thing that Figma does, right? Let me see if it's going to work here. Okay, it didn't. Usually, I think it only works with frames. Let's try it out. Frame selection for this, and then Ctrl+C. Frame selection for this. Click on this Ctrl V. Didn't. Okay. So I'm trying to see if I can copy the same style or copy and paste the same what's it called? Same X and Y axis, but it's not working. So I'm just going to do this manually. So we have 16. Don't forget that. Same thing here. This is 16. Do the same thing here. And we added this and we made it 35. We did the same thing. We're going to do the same thing here. Add another view. Make it 35. The opacity. Same thing here. Opacity of 35. And then the next thing we're going to do is add our text. So we're just going to give it random names. We have Pandawa Beach here. Pandawa Beach. So we're going to type that out here. Pandawa Beach. We're going to make that 16. Check the spacing. I think 16 is fine. So I still feel like we may have to increase this to even 15. Otherwise, people may not be able to make out those written there. So I'll just exchange this to 15. So the next thing we want to do is add this. We're going to reduce this so that make it white. Check the alignment. This is 4, that's fine, 16. Now this other text is going to be smaller. I'm just going to put a random location. Make this 14. Make it regular. So we just say India. Select 2 of them together as always. Make sure that it's vertically aligned. group it together, check alignment here, like to group these two. So we'll just copy that and put it here, bring to front, check alignment. No, we're using 16. Okay, from 16 here as well. Let's check this one. This is 10. I can just decide to make it 8. And we have names of beaches. Is that a plural of beach? So let's make sure that this is left aligned. Oh, Tolu, I'm holding on to the old ski to check alignment. That's how I'm seeing the red. Okay. The red lines and the little cards. Hold on to your shift key. Okay. The Wise Beach by Chukwudi. Olakule, you have to pronounce this your beach name for us because I'm not getting it. Check alignment 16, 8 from below. Olakunle said, Elegushi. And when you say landmark, Jeju Beach, Oniru Beach. Okay. So we have 16 here. 8 from here. Oniru. Okay. Thank you very much for the name suggestion, guys. So yes, we're going to be working on the, what's it called? The bottom navigation now. So I'm going to select all of this and make sure that they're aligned. And they're all 24 by 24, as you can see. So I'm going to select all of them and add auto layouts. You can see that it's 25. The spacing between them is 25. And I can choose to increase that to maybe 64. And then I want to add a fixed width, okay? Because we already remember what our button, sorry, our container width is. So, and you can see that. Let me make this white first, and then we're going to change it later. You can see now that there's another room here. That's because this is set to top left. It's aligned to the top left. So this is what happens when I align to the center. You can see now that it has equal spacing here. So this is fine. This is totally fine, right? And we're going to add, because this is why most people don't have enough spacing, enough room. You can see that there's no padding at all. Okay, there's no vertical padding at all. So we're going to add maybe 8. That looks fine to me. We can just make it 16. Okay, so I'm going to change this back to maybe gray. Yes. And then I'm going to add a field to this. So for this one, this is the home page here. This is going to carry the primary color. And we can even make this a component, right? Make this a component, call it bottom nav. And then you can play around with the gradients. Okay, change the colors and all of that. We've already taught you guys how to design this. So for the purpose of today's class, let's just stick to this. So I'm going to get this guy, copy this and paste it here. Align it to, so this is, oh yeah, it has to align to our frame. Yeah, I just remembered. So we cannot stick to the container width. Why? Because our frame is what? a frame is, let me click on this one. This is the width of our frame. It's 375, and we don't want this space. We don't want this space. We obviously don't want this space. So we're going to change this to 375. So 375. Yeah, it's automatically changed because I changed that for the parent component. So we're going to align this to the bottom. Yes. So we have our home page ready. Let's take this here. So the last thing we want to do is design this other screen here. And for that, I'm just going to, because it looks almost the same as what we have here. So I'm just going to duplicate it because of time. And instead of splash, I'll call this Pandawa page, because that's the detail of that page. Then we're going to delete all of this. So we have we're going to make this, let's align, make this 16 pixels. And I'm just going to copy this because of time. Copy this and okay, we'll have to increase it this time. So make it 24. So looking too small, that's too big. So we barely have time, so I may not be able to finish this at all. I'm looking at the time, and we have another, which another track is going to have a class, and it's going to use this Zoom link. So we have to. But it's a good thing that we have this screen in place. So now we're going to start our high fidelity prototype because of time. So I'm going to click on this and select prototype. So yes, let's talk. We don't have time. When a user clicks on get started, where do they go to? Or what exactly are we going to be linking from this screen? So like I said, today's class is going to be interactive. That's how you're going to learn. So say whatever you have in your mind to say. Homepage. So what exactly are we linking? Are we linking the whole page, or are we linking the button? I know it's taking us to home. Okay, the button. Nobody says the button. Okay, who else says button? Get started button to homepage button, the famous button. Okay, so let's do it. So we're going to link this. We're going to drag this to here. So now, immediately you do that, you have these settings that comes up, as you can see on my screen. So we're going to select on tap. Okay, I mean, there are other options on drag while hovering, but we want, when the user taps on the button here, it will now take the user towards the home page. To navigate to home, you can see home. And we have another option here. Do we want it to be instant? Do we want it to dissolve? Do we want smart animation? Do we want it to move in, move out, push, slide in, slide out? I think I'll go with instant. So instant. So on the home page now, what are we going to link? What are we going to link to the next one? Or how are we going to arrive at the final screen? Okay, I'm waiting for answers. What on the home page are we going to? The Pandawa page, yes. Okay, so I'm going to click on this card and link it here. So on tab, it will navigate to Pandawa page, and it is also instant. Right, so there's something we might have missed. Okay, if the users now gets to this place, how are they going to go back? So let's quickly switch back to design and then add. Let's click on, let's make it 60. Give it the margin of 16, bring it down a bit. make it 32 from the top. Yes, add a back button. Thank you very much, Tolopi. So we're going to give you a pass-through of 50 or 60. Yes. And add a back button. Brilliant. So we're going to click on back. Okay, so we'll go with this one. Go with this one. We're going to reduce this to 24. What happened here? Sorry about that. Sorry. Figma is doing a lot right now. Let's change this to white first. We'll take this out. Reduce this to 24. Oh, somebody this stroke, yeah. You may have missed that. Stroke. So we're going to put this here. It's actually looking big here, so we're going to reduce this. Make sure to align this. Okay. So we've added the back button, successfully added the back button. So let's go back to the prototype. So where exactly are we going to? Let me group this. Okay. So we're going to go back to prototype. So why are we going to go back to the next page? What are we linking exactly? What are we linking? How do we go back to the home page using the back button, right? Thank you, Tolu. So we're going to click on this and we're going to link this back here. Okay, so on tab, navigate to home and instance. Okay, so with that being said, flow 2. Now we're going to click on show prototypes, what's it called, settings. So what you will have to do is first thing, select your device. So making use of iPhone 13 mini like I did, select the device. We're making use of iPhone 13 Pro and the rest, select the device. And then you can decide that you want the model to be midnight, to be blue, or starlight. Doesn't really matter. So, and then you're going to click the present. Okay, so so this is what we have. Okay, let's let that load. This is what we have. So now we're going to check out what we just did so far. Right? First of all, what did we link? I think we did get started. And then we click on Pandora Beach and then it takes us here. Okay, and then we go back here. So we have that. Okay, this is ours. Yes. So get started. We have Pandora Beach. And then our incomplete details page. So we now click on the back button to go back to the home page. So this is what our prototype looks like so far. So yes, we've come to the end of today's class and feel free to try out something at your leisure time. Yeah, just try to replicate the design maybe, and then link up the screens, play your prototype, and share the good news with us. So do we have any questions quickly before we call it a day? We have to end this class so that the next track can continue with the session. And thank you very much for the answers and for we're making this class a very interactive session for us. So I'm guessing there are no questions. So for as many as have not submitted their task here, because there are still just a few submissions. I think about 30 something that submitted the stage 3 task, and that's very cool. So please do well to, get to your task and ask questions where you need to. The Discord channel is always open. All right, thank you very much for joining today's class, and do well to have a nice day. Mayowa, do you have any other thing to say, or Ikes, before we call it a day?
None here.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Get to your task.